Faking Love with the Billionaire Enemy. Chapter 6. Calm before the storm. The sun rays were trickling through the curtains of the hospital room. It had kind of become a home away from home, or a place of worship, where people came expecting miracles, and if your prayers were loud enough, then one would be spared. Marcus had made sure Henning got the best room money could buy, and by extension, staying in the hospital with him didn't feel like much of a chore. "Hey, sweetheart," Marcus said, poking his head through the door and quietly sliding in. "Hey, welcome back," I replied, getting up to help him, silently shut the door behind him. "Is Henning still asleep?" he asked. "See for yourself," I replied, chuckling. The doctors had told Marcus and I that Henning was progressing nicely and would likely be discharged by the end of the week. We were overjoyed, but decided not to tell him yet. "Did you get all I asked for?" I asked, looking through the bags he brought in with him. "I did. Chicken chips, some burgers, and cake slices. Am I right?" "Right on the money, well done." Marcus and I had gradually developed a friendship. To keep us sane within the four walls of the hospital, we had to find a way to engage ourselves. While Henning slept, we spoke to each other about Caleb and how he was doing in school, recounting memories of growing up, anything and everything to keep our minds occupied. When Henning was awake, we entertained him. He was disappointed that the shooter hasn't been caught yet, so we tried our best to keep his mind off it. And so far so good. "So, how do we hide all this stuff before he wakes up?" Marcus asked. "We don't," I answered, laughing. "We'll feast whenever he wakes up." "You're such a terrible planner," Marcus lamented. "We can live with that," I replied, laughing a bit more. "Caleb says he wants to see you again," he mentioned. "Really? Lucky me, charming the little man," I responded, sinking into my seat. "Is that so?" Marcus chuckled, sitting in his seat and turning to face me. "Of course I'm a catch and he knows it," I replied, smirking. "That's a literal child, Zoya," Marcus laughed. "And he already has impeccable taste." "I would have never guessed you were a cradle robber," Marcus exclaimed, gasping for dramatic effect. "You. Stop that," I cried, fake gagging. He caught my eye, and we both burst into laughter. "I see you got jokes. You better not wake him up, or you'll have to explain what's so funny about calling his darling sister a cradle robber," I warned, giggling. "You'd be the one with some explaining to do, not me." "'Cause ogling over a 7-year-old is creepy," Marcus replied, laughing still. "Okay, that's enough weird talk for today," I commanded. "Yes, dear." Marcus saluted. "But really, how is he though? How did his soccer match go?" I asked, genuinely curious. "His team lost, but he ended up winning player of the game." "Oh wow. That's amazing." He was so happy, and couldn't stop talking about it. Someone had fallen and injured himself, and the game continued because it was out of the referee's line of sight. "So he stopped to help the bleeding boy," Marcus recounted proudly. "Such a gentleman. Like I said before, the apple fell a mile away from the tree." "If that is what you believe, who am I to argue?" he said. "Good. I'm glad we're on the same page then," I huffed. "Sometimes he reminds me of his mother when I fell in love with her," Marcus started. "Oh, really?" "Yeah. She was kind and thoughtful, yet headstrong at the same time. The perfect blend of sweet and spicy. He took all the best parts of her," he said. "I'm glad you feel that way. Besides, the love you show him is nurturing all those parts of himself, giving him room to grow and keep getting better. It's the gift that keeps on giving." "You really think so?" he asked. "Of course I do. Especially because he's growing to be the opposite of you, a sweet little boy." "I knew it," Marcus replied, palming his face. "You were sounding too good to be true. You never struck me as a romantic, but the speech you gave about your ex? Phew, goosebumps. The almighty Marcus is capable of love, what a shocker," I said mockingly. "Do you really believe I'm incapable of love, Zoya?" Marcus asked, looking me straight in the eye, his gaze piercing my soul. Yea, of course. Look, we've been engaged for over a month, and not once have I felt loved. I replied. You know that doesn't count. Oh, really? So this is how you treat all the women in your life? I teased. Do you really want me to show you how I treat the women in my life? He asked, peering at me with great intensity. Please, please, channel all your love into Caleb. He's the one who needs it. I have enough to go around, but it looks like you wouldn't even be able to handle it, which is why you're chickening out now, Marcus replied, smiling. Whatever makes you sleep at night, Marcus, I replied, rolling my eyes. Henning stirred and eventually woke up from all our noise. I noticed first, then called Marcus's attention to him. We then got up and began singing and dancing around him, like we discussed. We started removing the goodies from the bag, to his surprise. What's all this? What is going on? Henning asked. It's a feast in your honor, I replied. My honor? What is going on? He inquired. We'll explain soon enough, just enjoy the show, Marcus replied. When we got tired of all the singing and dancing, we got down to the actual business of the feast, the food. We all ate to our fill, and when it was time for dessert, neither of us could move well enough to have some. Okay, now I'm stuffed. What was this feast for? Henning asked again. The doctor said you're progressing well, I started. And you may be able to leave this place at the end of the week, Marcus replied. What? Henning exclaimed. Exactly. I'm so proud of you, I replied, leaning in for a hug. He bumped fists with Marcus, and our moment of joy was fully lived. Hey, thank you for planning this, Marcus started, turning to look at Henning, who was passed out in his bed. Oh? I asked, surprised and nursing my full belly, barely able to move. I haven't seen Henning this happy in years, he continued. Wow. That doesn't sound good at all. A bullet to the chest really shouldn't be in the picture when counting happy memories, I replied. Let me rephrase it. Henning has become more of himself since you got back. He used to be such a shadow, but now it's like he's coming back to life. I know you mean well, but this was one of the reasons why I left home. What? Marcus exclaimed, shocked. Yay. The casino, the life it brought him, the life you introduced him to, it was killing him, and I couldn't bear to watch, and I hated you for introducing him to it. The money, girls, guns, blood, drugs, fast cars, and everything in between. It was all too much for me. I know it isn't easy to live like this. This life isn't for everyone, and it was a hard decision choosing it. But look around, look at how easily money solves our problems. With the snap of a finger, everything we could ever want or need could just appear, Marcus continued. Money can't buy everything, I replied, unconsciously running my hand across the scar on my belly. I know this. Believe me, I do. I live each day knowing that one day, I'm gonna have to end it all to keep the people I love safe. But people depend on me to feed their families, and my customers depend on my services to cope with the cold, hard world we live in. How do I make sure they survive? And now, someone is already threatening the peace. Talking about revenge and whatnot. I made it my duty to ensure that my casino was safe for all those who found solace within its walls. Now, everyone is afraid another potential shooter will show up. And if care wasn't taken, I might have lost Henning, and that is something I would never be able to forgive myself for. He said, casting his eyes away in shame. Hey. Look at me, I said. You didn't and you won't lose him. We'll find whoever it is that is threatening the peace, and stop him. But this should only intensify your plans for another way to survive. This isn't sustainable for you, and not for Caleb either. I stretched out my hand and gently patting his leg just above his knee to comfort him. Now let's go have dessert. Shall we? I asked, getting up to find the cake slices. Sure, you always know the right things to say, Zoya. Of course I do. I've had practice, I replied, laughing lightly and handing him one of the cake slices. We ate the dessert and chatted about more light-hearted things, slowly easing the tension between us.